Welcome back to Is There Any Money In? I'm Ed Cavalier.
Jeez, we're gonna.
Bryce, Ren, how are you both?
Good.
Good. How
Listen,
are you?
no, never better. Today, I'm doing Is There Any Money in Jesus?
Huge.
Yes. Next episode.
Thank you so much for asking. And let's start out of 10. What do we think? 1 being there's no money in it, 10 there's heaps. What do we think?
10.
There has never been a better money spinner in the history of Earth than this.
All right, well, you two need this because this house of sin just only cares about money. This is finally you two are going to get some what you desperately need, which is some spirituality.
Have you seen the Vatican? They've got more gold than we do.
How dare you? They got that legally? I want to say legally. Ready? Let's have a game. Who is the largest landowner in the world? Hint, Husey is 5th. Who is the largest landowner in the world?
Catholic
The
Church.
Catholic Church.
He's incorrect. It is King Charles,
Oh.
Oh, really?
head of the Church of England. So technically a church
Hey,
leader. And
okay.
second is our friends at the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Have you seen the Mormon Church?
The
Oh, we're
Tabernacle in Salt Lake City.
They've got a $100 billion fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that all? Lame. In Sydney, where we are, in the east of Sydney, the land on which 2 Christian, quote, based schools, loosely these days, is on, was recently valued at,
8 billion?
well done,
What? What are the schools?
the grounds of 3 schools, wasn't it?
I thought it was less.
2 schools, but I think they included one of them, which is a bit further down the road at Rose Bay.
Right.
The boys/girls school.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So if they
Did
just
you say
sold
8
that,
billion?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
You've-
my god.
yeah, it's
It's ridiculous.
yeah, like Lux Listings wish they had that joint. What about if I was being a pastor? What if I'm a Christian pastor? Is there any money in that?
Oh, there's a joke there for spaghetti or tortellini. But
Is there? I don't know if there is.
is there money in it? I don't think
Bryce,
there's
so
I
it
don't
is-
think I don't think there's a lot.
I reckon you'd be getting like a 65 grand a year salary and the house that's
All
connected to the
expenses.
church. Yeah. No, not you're not getting food and stuff from the church.
If you live on campus.
Live on campus. There's wine and this really thin bread, but not much of that you're going to get. Righto, let's play Guess the Wealth.
Wait, hold on. Were we right?
You're wrong. There's heaps.
Oh.
If you're in the top,
Like a mega church.
thank you.
pastor.
If
Yeah,
you're in the
okay.
top 20
I was thinking-
online pastors. That's why I didn't say
Yeah, okay.
priest.
Sure.
I said pastor.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I know that I've seen a doco on the extreme wealth that some of them pump out with their private jets. And
We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play. See if you two can guess the wealth. I've got 2 clips from YouTube Shorts of 2 pastors who are in the top 20 net worth as told by the internet. Let's hear the first. And you've got to tell me one of these is valued at $2.5 million and the other bloke is valued at $300 million.
Oh, wow.
So just based off their Jesus gear on the internet, can you tell the difference between who is good and who is not? Right, let's hear the first one.
This lady came to the well beaten down, unworthy, thinking that she would always be looked down on, defeated. But she left that day with a new passion, a new self-image. She saw herself as valuable, redeemed, forgiven. She ran back and told the whole town to come see this man, Jesus. They all flooded out to see him. She didn't just get changed, but she changed her city. Now she was no longer looked down on, she had respect. She was no longer broken, unworthy, she felt valuable. She knew she was a child of the Most High God.
Okay, that's pastor number 1.
Okay.
All right, so it's either $2.5 million or $300 million net worth. Let's hear pastor number 2.
Ungodly, spirit-filled, faithful friend changes your whole life. The best way to find that friend is to be that friend. And so here we meet Elisha. He enters the scene. And sometimes everything changes when the person who's filled with the Holy Spirit and loves the Lord shows up. Like, life changes. It's a world filled with horrible people, but here's one great man of God. That makes all the difference. You don't need a lot of friends. You just need 1 or 2 that really love the Lord. It's not about how many, but about how deep.
He's the 300 mil.
Yeah,
can't-
trick question.
He's,
What do you mean?
He's
That,
300.
that, my friends, was Mark Driscoll, net worth 2.5 million.
Oh, well, yeah.
The first gentleman we heard, Kenneth Copeland, worth 300 mil. That makes sense?
I thought he was a much better speaker.
The first guy or the second
First
guy?
guy.
Yep, that was actually a trick question because that was, in fact, Joel Ornstein, who's only worth 100 mil.
Right.
What's he even doing?
So, yes, there's money.
Big
Yeah.
money.
And it's hard to tell the difference between the material.
But it's not about how well you preach. It's about how hard you sell the merch afterwards, isn't it?
It's a bit of both because Mark Driscoll, he was fired from the mega church that he helped create called the Mars Hill Church. The only thing that churches provide more revenue for than themselves is podcasts. For every mega church that takes a dive, there are 900 podcasts about what happened to that mega church, including our friends at, I'm not going to do Hillsong today, because there are currently 900 podcasts about Hillsong and 900 documentaries about Hillsong. I got no interest in that, right? What I will play you is the ad that's playing before the most popular Hillsong, What's Going Wrong at Hillsong podcast. Here we go.
Go on a sexy splurge at Sexyland this end of financial year. Grab up to 70% off Australia's biggest range of adult toys, couples games, lingerie and sexual wellness products. Sexyland, something real sexy.
You're kidding.
Dildos and Jesus.
I mean, it kind of fits because the ungodly heathens that are listening to a podcast degrading Hillsong are the same ones that are going there.
Have you ever seen such a perfect binary opposition? We got a podcast that has a go at Hillsong. Have I got the dildo show for you? Let's move on to Preachers and Sneakers, the best Instagram account that there is,
No
which
way.
just tells you the amount of how much the outfits of preachers costs. They take screenshots,
That's
look up the
epic.
clothes, and then put it on the Preachers and Sneakers. So, Preachers and Sneakers. They had a pastor called Guillermo Maldonado, and there he is with his sneakers. And those sneakers, my friends, you'll know them as well as I do, as the $1,000 Prada sneakers.
This Instagram account is epic.
It's everything. This is everything to me. And here is the only thing I'll do. Pastor Luna at the from the Hillsong conference. So this was a screenshot from a live broadcast. Look at that. You like that hoodie? You like that hoodie, you guys? You like that? You got hoodies? How much for an Equity Mates hoodie?
Not as much as whatever they're selling.
$50
for
or something?
Hillsong.
60?
Oh, you're on-
equitymates.com/shop.
Well, you're undercharging because at the Hillsong conference, this Louis Vuitton one on this pastor cost $1,600.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm going to go and preach today. I know what I'll wear. I'll wear my
Louis Vuitton.
$1,600
Yeah.
hoodie.
Talking about, Jesus saying it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God than for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle in a
more like it.
$1,600 hoodie.
This is more like it. Now, we should say, as one of the gentlemen from Hillsong is very keen to tell us, none of these people have taken a vow of poverty. I believe Hillsong has taken a vow of tax avoidance. Allegedly.
Well, there's a whole conversation about that.
What? We are in the wrong business, gentlemen.
Yes.
If this was the Church of Equity Mates, we would be in a gold room right now. This would be a solid gold room. And all you've got to do is every now and again say, and Elijah said, go forth and buy Amazon. And we
Hold on.
Yeah, not
Hey, look at these two. That's
bad.
the most quiet you've ever been.
I'm just biting my tongue because I think there's a much bigger conversation about hoarding wealth and tax avoidance. And
Yes.
there's probably a middle ground where if you want to fund your good works in that year, you don't pay tax. But if you want to store that wealth, you pay tax on it.
Yeah. And that is the same. Everyone has that burden. So why
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
It is crazy. Anyway, they do this thing called First Fruits. Have you heard this? This is one of Hillsong's best ones, where they're up there and they go, listen, there's this thing called First Fruits in the Bible, and he'll read a bit out. And I go, that's when you give 10% of your income to the church?
Like tithing.
Yeah, like who would that be? Oh, that'd be me. Coolies. Jesus is pumped. Anyway, I've got to go. I've just seen a hoodie I like. So that's there. Okay. let's go to retail. Let's link two of my favorite previous topics, music and movies, which I've done on this,
Yes.
and now linking them to Jesus. Is there any money in Jesus movies or Jesus music?
Massive music industry.
Yeah, Hillsong. I know you don't want to talk about Hillsong, but they pioneered that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Amazing.
Credit where credit's due.
What about the movies, though? You thinking?
Never seen
yeah,
one
see,
other
there you go.
than-
Hang on.
other than-
There is,
Um,
there is a, if we're shouting out epic Instagram and TikTok accounts, there is a TikTok account that all it does is give recaps of Christian movies.
That's funny.
It is like the best social media account I've ever seen. It is hilarious.
That's funny.
I can't remember what it is, but I'll give it to our producer Sasha and get it to include it in the show notes.
All right.
Never
because
seen one. Passion of the Christ. That's the only one.
massively profitable. It's often in the list of most profitable films of all time. And before Mel Gibson had his troubles, it was insanely popular. And did you guys ever see it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. For a movie where
yeah, we know what happens.
That's what I mean. For a movie where you know the ending,
Yeah.
it was pretty effective.
Yeah.
You're like, geez, that guy really suffered.
intense,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really had he really
time.
really copped it. You heard it here first. Let me hear. Can I please hear a bit of "I Can Only Imagine," the Christian single?
It's all the same.
Hey.
Bit of country.
Ah. Thank you.
I feel we have to cut this soon because we're about to hit 30 seconds.
That'll do. You guess where it goes from there. Okay. So that guy who wrote that song, his next single was WAP.
What?
What?
I'm joking. So, all right. So that...
I never know how these music credits go.
What? Anyway, that is the best-selling Christian single of all time, selling 2.5 million copies. It's the only song in the genre to go double platinum. Normally, they're on the compilation albums. They don't normally chart, but they get people in. Justin Bieber will come and do a guest spot. You get the idea. Right. Here's where it gets really clever. The song goes crazy, goes off. So then in 2018, they base a movie on just the lyrics of that song for a Christian audience. Very, very cheap to make. And it brings in, friends,
50 mil.
$90
Wow.
million.
Wow.
Plus the 2.5 million. This is a tight ecosystem,
who
friends.
Is this a church that owns all that?
Well, this
Or
is
like-
where it gets very interesting.
Like, does the singer cop that?
Well, the singer obviously helped write the script. I cannot find any financial even speculation about the Christian film companies that make these movies.
Really?
It is one of the darkest. Like you can't. I'm looking. All right, what if I tricked? What about the producer? What if I go to this?
It'd
Nothing.
just be the church, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Well,
would be a subsidiary of the church
well,
for the tax benefits.
I
wouldn't
don't know if you. I think that might be a bridge too far, even for them.
You reckon?
Where it's hard to claim film that makes
Educational.
90. Well, maybe,
Yeah.
but it's a narrative.
So is the
If anyone
Bible.
knows, please let us know. If you're there and you can leak it, let me know, because it was and that's what told me something was up, because it's the first time there is no financial information about a film that came out publicly and made $90 million.
You have made films before. Have
Yeah.
you ever thought about pivoting into Christian
Mate, I
films?
could do it, of course. I'd like to do it from Mary Magdalene's point of view. They had good reason not to let Joseph and Mary into that in. Yeah, we're all cool with that.
Because she cheated on him.
Thank you so much. And it was a tax collection issue. He was there. He was meant to be there a day beforehand. Come on, mate, get your act together. All right, it's tax time. You guys understand that. It was
Oh,
air
yeah.
fire, and there he is wandering in on a donkey, days late. There are no rooms, bro. What do you want from me?
Yeah, he
you
said-
should have booked ahead.
He said, if this is a tax collection issue, I am going to spend the next 2,000 years of my descendants avoiding
That's
tax.
so true. That's a great point. The song, which remains the best-selling Christian of all time, also stands, how's this, as the 5th highest grossing music biopic ever in the United States. Only behind Rocket Man, Walk the Line, Bohemian Rhapsody.
What?
That's how big this was as a biopic, as a musical biopic.
I would love to know the geographic spread of like where the 90 million came from. Like,
Well, I thought you'd do that, yes.
Yeah, mainly
in
the
God-fearing
US.
areas.
Yeah,
Well, no, that's US.
and then mainly the south of the US.
Well, that also is not available, but they would argue, how dare you? Sure, you're inner city heathen types, but as soon as you get out in the suburbs, we're on. Because the fastest growing, where were the fastest growing amount of mega churches in the 1990s in America? You're never going to get it.
Suburban Los Angeles.
Oh, geez, you are close. Because the fastest growing region was Orange County. And so that's where they went.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the great innovators who started running courses on how to open mega churches opened the first ever.
There's a course on how to open a
There
mega
is.
church.
Yep. There is most certainly is the first ever, one of his big innovations, drive-through church.
No way.
Yep.
Americans love staying in their
Drive-through
cars.
church.
Yes.
What, you sit in the car park in your car?
Yeah.
No, not drive through, drive in, isn't it?
Yeah, drive-through and in. So
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
drive through,
yeah.
get a quick blessing. Oh, forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. Oh, no, that's Catholic. What'd you do? Well, they're in the trunk. Put it that way. No worries, you're good. Off you go. Or drive in, listen, cool, drive home. Don't even have to get out. Lord doesn't want you to get out of the car.
Wow.
Okay, so estimated total of earnings for mega churches in America last year. Just in the United States. Estimated
okay.
earnings.
Oh, well over it.
Yeah, well over a bill.
Ready? Once again, no estimates available.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Really?
that doesn't surprise
Because
me.
declared revenue is nout.
Yeah. If you don't have to pay tax, how are you getting that
okay.
information?
Thank you so much. And also, why are we declaring our revenue?
Yeah,
and if
yeah.
we do,
we're in trouble.
then they're going to have to do it as well.
Yeah.
Let's all agree not to worry about it, shall we?
Yeah.
Shit.
It is.
Such a good.
It is
so good.
every time I looked something up, I was like, genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
Actually, they probably do have to report as like a charity. Sort
Well-
of thing, but that never gets public.
I'm just. Give me a sec to put it. I don't know where it went away. Here we go.
I just googled estimated earnings Hillsong, and the first link said $232,000. Like, are you kidding?
But
me?
that's what ends up happening. It's zero, or we give it all back.
Yeah.
So there was
true,
one
true.
website that said, I don't like doing this. They're saying because it's estimated, you know, and I don't like estimated. I don't like saying that. So heavy caveats. All right, I'll say it because it was the only one I could find. They said that from 17 million Christians visiting church or their official websites regularly, they reckon about $75 billion last year.
Wow.
But that's based on nothing
Yeah.
concrete. But what other industry, let me ask you two, what other industry with no information, apart from drugs, can you estimate $75 billion worth of revenue a year? Is there any... It's completely alone.
I was going to make a joke about like defense or war, but actually there's heaps of information
Yeah.
on that. That's a lot more.
I've
public.
even asked ChatGPT. They can't.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it can't
Here
even
we
say.
go.
Well, usually it'll make up something. It hasn't given a single figure. But it gave me 5 paragraphs.
And what does it say? There's nothing.
Nothing. It just says they typically have congregations of this size and
Okay,
come from multiple sources.
Let's go to the Mormons.
Yeah.
Because that's a smaller denomination by any standard metric, right? Estimated of the portfolio, so land, stuff they own, apps, they're big in, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but they're big in technology in the parts of the Utah and the people attached to it. Okay, estimated portfolio as it stands from last year.
The Mormons.
Yeah.
Well, we know that they have that $100 billion secret portfolio that got leaked.
That is the one that they're going from.
Yeah.
$100 billion from whistleblowers. And do you
Yeah.
reckon those whistleblowers have access to the whole...
Yeah, I know. No, it's crazy.
So what other industry can you have $100 billion that no one can tell you where it is, who it is, what it is? What other industry is that? So just in those two things, we're close. If you add up the other Catholic Church, $30 billion that they're estimating, we're close to $200 billion of mystery assets and revenue without land and current assets. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is. It's nuts.
Well, that's the thing with Scientology as well. The numbers are declining
Aha.
so much. Am I jumping ahead?
No,
here?
please do it. Yes.
The numbers are declining so much, but their asset value is rising so much. And because they're tax exempt as well, that's just like an extra free kick.
Yes.
And there will be a world where it's only David Miscavige left one day.
Yeah, so
and
he's
he's got a massive
talk-
portfolio.
Yeah, talking to himself.
Yeah.
So the Hollywood, if you've ever been to LA, the Celebrity Center by itself is huge and staggering. And they do this great thing where if you're a stand-up comic, they have this venue attached to the side of it and they put on comedy nights. And every time people go there who don't know the way, this happened to a mate of mine, you go there and you do a show and the crowd's there and they're loving it, but they're loving it too much. And then he's like, this is so odd. And then someone goes, oh, did you fall for that? That's a Scientology gig because it's around some other. And apparently their followers told to go, laugh it up. Maybe we can recruit this young comic. And if he makes it or she makes it, then they're already indoctrinated into the system.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So how to think that they would sully something as pure as comedy.
Honestly, if they all make a concerted effort to listen to our podcast, I'm open to it.
Oh, so am I. Oh, yeah, please, sign me up. Under 40,000, they say worldwide for Scientologists. They, of course, say that it's growing and it's tens of millions and tens of millions. But that is the interesting place. At what point do assets become worth more than all folks involved? And what do you do?
Well, so they're just farming off all the proceeds to themselves, right?
Whistleblowers allege that the enrichment of the top few at the top is on a quote ungodly scale, and that's across the board. Once I started doing this, I was like, oh, and here's the article about, and they're enriching themselves. But right, let's say you just go to a service, you feel good from it, you feel better, you've got a spiritual life that you think is being fulfilled, and you've paid some money for that. What's the difference? What's the difference between that and paying for anything else that's a subscription in your life that makes you feel good?
There's no difference from that point of view.
That's what I
The-
mean.
The difference is the other side.
The difference is every other subscription in your life
Pays
pays tax.
Yeah.
Like
Like Apple.
Yeah, but you know they
Like Google, like
I mean,
Netflix,
they-
like Amazon.
At least they
at least
are in a system that
least
pays
they're
tax.
regulated.
Yeah, what the Irish tax system, the Irish double Irish tax system.
But, if we want to talk
Thank
about
goodness corporate America is keeping us holy.
if we want to talk about like a 15% global minimum tax and stuff like that, that's a conversation we'd love
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah.
But we'd love to apply it to religious organizations as well.
I'm not saying I disagree, but I'm
sounds
saying
like-
I'm not saying I disagree, but I'm saying that it gets real murky real quick when every device in our pockets and the ones we're using right now, those companies aren't exactly Captain Tax and will do anything they can to get out of it. Like Kerry Packer said, why would I pay more tax than I have to?
Yeah.
He said it to them. That was the best day ever.
But they're doing it within the rules in which they can do it.
There you go.
Like
They're
it's-
doing it. It's
But
inside
so
the
are the
lines.
religious.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's
Everyone's playing by the
BS.
rules. The rules are just fucked.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Well, I think we've danced around this perfectly. Can I leave you with two? So let's go. Where are we now? After we've heard these figures, where are we?
It's for me. It's still.
Is
it's
it less or more after you've heard this?
Well, I think there's
More
no doubt
areas?
that
I feel like there's more areas that we've discussed. The films, the
Yeah.
music,
music. Yeah.
the individuality of can I get a $1,700 hoodie? Yeah, no worries.
I think
I'm
that's
off to
probably
off to preach.
Yeah.
That's great. That's where the rubber hits the road for me. I'm like, come on, how much
Yeah.
money have you got if that's a viable?
What
option?
I'd love to know is like personally, like what does the Pope own, or like
Nothing.
Personally, he owns
No,
nothing.
no, he owns
Yeah,
not. He doesn't even own the rings on his finger.
zero?
Yeah.
No, nothing. He's
So
a
he'll
man.
die
Of,
with nothing.
We all die with
Yeah.
nothing, bro.
oh, well done. The popes. Some of the old popes used to have
Like
kids.
Houston, what's his name? Houston
Alan.
from
Oh yeah, Brian.
Hillsong.
Yeah.
They're like asset rich personally.
Yes. Yeah, and
so
they've got.
they managed to take a fair bit out of.
And if you're wondering
church.
how you could also be part of that, there was that wonderful email that they sent out about the claiming of household expenditure, which is available on the Equity Mates website.
Sure.
It's not.
What's
Have
this?
you re-
The Hillsong?
This
what
is
are
the
they?
one that most of the court cases around, which is why I'm dancing a little bit. But an internal
Oh,
email
yeah,
that
just
went round, an
careful.
internal email that went round about how you can claim certain things to do with household expenditure. And it was written like the tax code. It was like PricewaterhouseCoopers levels. It was full on.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And that is part of what I'm dancing around because that is in court.
okay. Well,
Okay,
everyone do
fair
their own
call.
Googling.
Yeah, do your own Googling and listen to 200 podcasts about it. Let me finish with 2 quotes. What about the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, which tells us that the parable sends the message that worldly and earthly possessions are of no benefit in the afterlife. Those who have suffered on earth will receive their reward in heaven. Okay? Or maybe we could go instead to the book of Luke 2:17. And Jesus said unto the faithful, go forth, get laid and get paid.